Well, I want to welcome everybody today to the presentation for the QuickBooks Desktop to the QuickBooks Online. I know there's many of you probably still trying to get in, so we'll just kind of talk through a few things. I'll start the presentation in a little bit. Um, we just want to bring this presentation to you because of the changing platforms with QuickBooks Desktop going to the QuickBooks Online. So we thought it'd be a great opportunity to show those of you who are still in the desktop to see what the QuickBooks Online actually looks like. With the price escalation of QuickBooks Desktop, now is the time that it could be to look at QuickBooks Online due to the cost is a little cheaper. So our firm is here to assist you, your business, to look at the new platform and the pricing to see what fits best for your business. And I want to clarify that today's presentation is going to look at the comparison between the two platforms. We're not actually going to walk through the mechanics of QuickBooks Online. We're basically going to show you why you should switch from the desktop to the online. So if you're finding yourself attending today to learn how to navigate for the QuickBooks Online, this is not the webinar for you. If you're interested, today we can get you help for converting the softwares. And once we get many of our clients converted, then we'll host another seminar October or November to explore the new platform. So as your trusted advisor, I would recommend reaching out to me for assisting in the new platform, the QuickBooks Online. We can schedule time together to walk through any questions you may have on recording transactions in the QuickBooks Online. I can also connect you with someone in an office closer to where your business is located. So basically today we're just going to walk through why we feel you should switch to the desktop to the online, and then we're here to assist you to do that. I've been with Kerber Rose for 27 years, so that does mean I started using QuickBooks Desktop, and I made the switch 10 years ago to the QuickBooks Online. Just like any of you, it took me a while to learn the new platform because that is the future of Intuit. So learning the new QBO has been my goal, and I've gotten there, and I'm here to assist you. You know, I'm a trusted advisor that can assist your business in accounting services, payroll, financial statements, and tax preparation. I kind of am able to help your business get to the place where you want to be with your QuickBooks. Our firm has 13 offices in the Northeast Wisconsin, so we can provide you with accounting, human resource consulting, audit, payroll, retirement plans, tax, and wealth management. And you can reach out to any office and you'll be connected to a trusted advisor to assist you. With that, let's get right into the presentation, the QuickBooks Desktop to QuickBooks Online. So one of the starting points is the accessibility and the platform. So the QuickBooks Desktop, one of the differences is that is installed on your desktop, on a computer. Then in order to access that platform, you always have to be on that computer, or you can use a third-party hosting service, only available on Windows. Then if you decide when you go to QuickBooks Online, well, that's cloud-based. So that is basically accessible with any device, the computer, the Mac, the tablet, the smartphone, and you just need an internet connection. With this platform, you're able to go on vacation and you can access your QuickBooks if you wanted to work while you were gone, or if you needed to pay something, you know, that is an option. You can work from home. You can have employees, multiple employees jump in. So there's lots of benefits that will help you move to the future with the QuickBooks Online. The next one I was going to talk about is the pricing model. So QuickBooks Desktop, basically you purchase an annual subscription. You pay for the Plus or the Enterprise. The difference with the QuickBooks Online is there's a monthly subscription fee. There's also a monthly payroll fee. So with the desktop, some people pay for the subscription, and then they have an annual subscription for the payroll. There's also the enterprise version that kind of combines the cost of the software and the payroll. But within the QuickBooks Online, it is 2 separate subscriptions monthly that can get set up. You could also pay annually too to save some money there too. With going with the QuickBooks Online, we'll be able to talk about if you use our firm, we can get you 30% off for the first year. Users, so in the desktop, it's very limited. And again, you can have the 3 users. You have to be able to have the computers linked together though. But with the online, you can have many users, and each user is granted access by the primary admin, but you don't have to be on the same computer. You can be in the same office or you could be in different locations. Basically, each user has their own email and their cell phone that helps them log in from wherever they are. So that is definitely a benefit with having the QuickBooks Online. It's accessible from anywhere versus the desktop having to be in an office. And the other advantage is your accountant can also log in with your online. So they can be in their office and walk you through the difficulty you may have or questions you may have. They'll be able to look at what you're looking at the same time. Versus the desktop, you'd have to give your accountant a backup and you're moving those little USBs from one place to another. This makes it a little easier for you. The multi-user collaboration, again, this is where I was talking. There's limited, desktop is limited. The multi-users can work in the same file, but it's got to be on the same network, the same service. Where the QuickBooks Online, it allows you to be in different places, it also provides a wide range of reports. It's not as in-depth as the desktop. The reporting is a little bit different. Some people find it harder to find the reports they were using in the desktop compared to the QuickBooks Online. So with the QuickBooks Online, there's different versions of it. If you go to the advanced, QuickBooks Advanced, there's better reporting. So sometimes you look at the cost of the software and you always go with the lowest tier, but you really have to look at the advantages of going to the higher tiers and what it offers compared to the lower tiers. The data control and security, remembering that your QuickBooks desktop continuously needs to be backed up. If something were to happen to your computer, your software is held right on that computer. If it gets corrupted, you can't access it and you don't have a backup, your data is lost. That does happen quite a bit to people, meaning they basically have to find their oldest backup and then restore that and then just add their data that they've used since that backup to get themselves current. But with the QuickBooks Online, the data is stored in the cloud. It's automatic backups. And the Intuit is managing the account for you. There's also the new feature that's the multi-factor authentication, allowing you to have to be the person to access that account and hopefully keeping it away from the identity theft. The user interface, the desktop, is the older traditional look is what it looks like, where the QuickBooks Online is going to be the more modern, reflective of, let's say, a cell phone, where the pop-outs are different. The desktop had more of a clunky look. It had arrows. It had different things to show you where to go. The online is a little harder because there's not arrows, there's not as many pictures. It's more of you having to know where to go. And that's where you're always going to need maybe to reach out to somebody in the beginning just to talk about how to get around in it, where you go for something. So it's well worth reaching out to people and just seeing, how do I do this? Getting it right in the beginning. And that's what we're here for, to help you. One of my favorite features is the automation. So in the desktop, you did have recurring transactions, you did have automatic payment reminders. When you do the transfer from the desktop to the QuickBooks Online, none of those come in. You would have to restart over with your recurring transactions. Um, the cool part of the QuickBooks Online is they emphasize automation. They're trying to make it as easy for you and not have to enter things as much as you did in the desktop. With the QuickBooks Online, there's the capability of connecting the software right to the bank, allowing transactions to download from the bank as they clear. The cool thing about that is it's kind of reconciling your bank statement throughout the month rather than waiting to the very end of the month or a few days into the following month. You're actually keeping your system live with the bank. Exactly what I mean by that is transactions you've entered will come down from the bank and you're allowed to hit match. So by matching that transaction, the QuickBooks Online now knows that that transaction has cleared the bank. So when you go to reconcile your bank statement, you're not having to clear every transaction because they've been clearing as you've been downloading them from the bank. The other cool feature is if a transaction gets downloaded and it doesn't say match, it'll say add. Well, then either you forgot to enter something or something has been entered incorrectly compared to how it came down from the bank. So it's kind of a way to reconcile and understand what's going through the bank compared to your actual program, and then knowing that you won't forget things. And that's great when we do taxes because we don't like it when you forget things. The next few screens, I've decided to show you kind of the comparison of what does it look like in the desktop and what is it going to look like when you do the conversion to the new QuickBooks Online. Again, there's no similarities. They look very different. And some people just get a little bit freaked out, you could say. But basically, if you get me to help you, it will be no problem for you at all. So the first screen I'm showing is what the home page in QuickBooks Desktop looks like. So you can see it's got the pictures, it has the arrows, it's comfortable. People are comfortable with this. They're seeing a picture, they're seeing the word under it, or they're following the arrows. It's taught you to now like what system to follow, how to get things into your QuickBooks. So when we go to the new system, it was hard to get a good picture of the online because it's so spread out. But basically, this is the look, right? Looks totally different. Across the top, you have to know what's under accounting, what's under expense and bills. And you don't have to know because once you click on the different icons, it'll drop down a menu for you. So at first, it's a little cumbersome. You won't know exactly where to go. But by clicking on things, you will familiarize yourself and be comfortable. There is a plus create on the left. That is a menu that'll have many different options for you. The first column will show the things for customers and then vendors and then different bank things. So it's just getting used to things. There's the dashboard there and it will look different too. So I just want to show the old look and then the new look. So you can see they're very different. There's no similarities, but the accounting system behind it is the similarity. The next spot I chose to look at is just issuing the check. So in the QuickBooks Desktop, currently, you've got the ribbon across the top, you got the bank account, You can check the box on the ribbon for printing labor later or uncheck it, the date, and the vendor. And with the vendor, fills in the address and the amount. Followed by at the bottom, you've got the expense where you can put the account the expense goes to, and the amount will follow. And you're also allowed to, on this screen, fill out the different lines if there's more than one expense account that the check is for. The QuickBooks Online does the exact same thing, other than it does look a lot different. So starting in the upper left-hand corner, it'll tell you the check number. If you have the box checked print later, the check number will not be listed there then. And then it starts out with the payee. You fill in the payee and the address will show in the mailing address. Then you choose the bank account. There's a little clock in the upper left-hand corner. The cool feature about that is it's your prior transactions. So if you were to be recording a check and then you recorded it and then you're like, oh no, I got to change something, you can click on that little clock there and you can see your prior checks you've entered and you can go back to the prior one. In the desktop, you had the arrows. There were arrows to go back and forth. Those are no longer in the online. It's basically looking at the little clock and going back to the history. There are different recording transactions. So here it says category before it said expense, account, description, and then you have the amount. The cool thing with the online is you have the add attachment. So there was, in the old desktop, there was attach file, so it could be used. People didn't necessarily use it as much, but now that you can transfer to the QuickBooks Online, you're able to either add the attachment or drag and drop. So if you have the capabilities of having scanners, you can scan your invoices in, save them on your desktop or someplace on your computer, and then you can add the attachments. Makes this easier because of the fact that many invoices do fade. If you were to get audited, you'd have to dig for the invoice. This allows everything to be right here at your fingertips. The next screen I've chosen are the deposit. So this is the look of how it looked in the desktop. Again, the account where you're depositing it to, the date, the received from. This is from account, which always confused people, but that was where you were to put your income or your expense. And then you could have the memo and the dollar amount. And again, you have the arrows for the before, the previous, and the next. In the new system, we have the history button again. This history button is found within all the screens that you can do data entry in. And then you can choose your bank account, your dollar amount. The received from is here, the first column. Then now it just says account, which is your income or your expense. And then you're allowed to add a description and you're allowed to add the dollar amount. Again, here is also the add attachment, which means that if you still take your deposit slips, you fill them out into the bank, you're able to attach it. You can have multiple lines on the deposit for multiple clients. It just looks more vibrant. The old system has got this dull look. The QuickBooks Online is just more robust, more user-friendly now. This is the way to go. One more screenshot I took. This is what the old menu looked like in the QuickBooks desktop. You know, everything was across the top. You no longer would have file or edit, but the vendors, the employees, the customers, you'll see that on this next slide. It looks different. They're here, right? But everything looks different. So you'll have account, you'll have expenses. So trying to drive home the fact that under expense are your vendors. So before it had a little bit of you had to know what to look for under the vendors, but now it's classified as expense. And then under the expense, you'll find your vendors. Same with your accounting. Same with your customers, your sales. So everything's here, obviously just looking a little different. So at this time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag across the actual QuickBooks platform, the new one, how it looks in a sample company that I have. So this is like a live look at what the software would look like. Good morning, Dana is on there. It's AI trying to communicate and get yourself familiar with it and comfortable. So they're trying to make things attractive and make you feel like, yes, you can do this. And yes, you can. Under the Plus New or Plus Create, it used to be called Plus New. They changed it to Plus Create. I'm still on the old version. Sorry about that. But under Plus Create, as I stated, the first column are different things that you can do with your customers. The second column is things that you can do with the vendors. Team is payroll, and then there's another option where you'll find the bank deposit, your transfer, your journal entries. The cool part about this now is we can use multiple screens. So if I wanted to write a check, you would take your mouse and hold down, and you can see that the check is following me. And then I can click and it's going to open another screen for the QuickBooks. So now I actually have two windows I can work in, allowing you to click between the two. And then you can use multiple screens. So if your organization has 2 or 3 screens, now you're able to pull this down and you can drag it to another screen. So it's kind of cool because you're able to work on multiple screens, keeping things open as you go. The dashboard, which is what I'm on now, which was what I had showed you. So if I click on accounting, it's not opening clearly. Sometimes the desktop has, or the online is a slow delay in things. You have to get used to things aren't as quick because now you're in the cloud. But if I click on accounting, it's not going to open. I apologize. Oh, there it is. There we go, accounting. Accounting then will kick out a little menu to the right. There they all catching up to us now. Reconcile is under here. The receipts, what the receipts is it allows you to download a QuickBooks app to your phone, cell phones. Anybody can do that within your company, and then you can actually take a picture of a receipt and it will upload to the QuickBooks Online platform. It will, with AI, it will read the receipt, try to read the vendor and the dollar amount. And if you've already got that transaction in the platform, it will match it. So it will automatically put that receipt onto, attach it to that expense. So that's a really cool feature that is definitely worth looking into to get your receipts, especially with the credit cards, how they fade. Those receipts fade so quickly. This is an option to get things attached. And specifically for audits, you know, if you go through audits, a lot of those credit card statements have nothing on them. But by this route, you can get things uploaded quickly. And then under the expense and bills are where your vendors are held. The sales and get paid. So that's where you can have your invoicing. Payroll is out here. Inventory, sales tax. There also is when you use the payroll and you have payroll taxes withheld, QuickBooks is able to automatically submit the payroll taxes to the government for you. The reporting, If we could just click on the reporting for the standard reports, there's obviously going to be, it looks like a lot of reports. It's just weeding through them. When you put the star next to them, this allows them to come up to your favorite section. So we're able to kind of click on things quicker by having the reports we generally use on a daily or monthly basis in our favorite section. If I click on one of the reports, it will open it up. It will open it up in the current period, similar to the desktop, how the desktop did that. There we go. At the top of the ribbon, you're able to do different things to the report, changing the dates, getting rid of the zeros, totals only, comparative, cash, and accrual. There's customization. And then you're also able to, in the desktop, you are able to memorize reports. Any reports you had memorized in the desktop will not come into the online. You will have to save customization, saving all your new reports that you had memorized in the prior version. That is a great sneak peek at what this software looks like, and I'm excited for it. So definitely looking forward to helping anybody who's interested in converting to it and teaching you how to use it, because it is fun. I have a slide here with the pricing. Currently, these are the current prices. If you decide that you want to convert, we can have a conversation as to which model you want to go with. If you do use Kerber Rose, you will get 30% off of the price for the first year. And then after the year, it goes back to the monthly cost that's on here. It might sound or look scary with the price, but the capabilities of the software and the convenience really outdo the price. It's a powerful software, and it's fun to see what it can do for clients and to help them understand their accounting a little easier. If you are a nonprofit and you're listening today, TechSoup is a great website for nonprofits. The TechSoup allows the nonprofit to get the QuickBooks Online at an affordable subscription. So I have listed here, if a nonprofit signs up with TechSoup, they're able to get the Online Plus for $80 annually, or the Advanced, which has got the better reporting capabilities, is the 170. So just by looking at the two screens, you can see that the price is not even comparable. It's very, very affordable now for nonprofits, which is very helpful to them. At this point, if anybody were to have any questions, you can reach out directly to me. You're also allowed to put a question in the chat. Within your Teams, there's a chat button. You can enter a question in there if you wish. Otherwise, you are definitely I'm more than happy to help talk you through something, answer your questions. You can email me or you can call me, and we can walk through to see where you're at, what you think the best time to convert is. Sometimes we're thinking maybe it makes more sense to convert October 1st due to the fact if you have payroll in your file, you don't want to convert between the two quarters. Is it possible? Yes. Is it a little more work? Absolutely. We try to make things more convenient and easier for clients. Before the file does get converted, the QuickBooks Desktop should go through a cleanup. So by a cleanup, if there's vendors, there's customers, their employees, they should be made inactive. If the client or the vendor, customer, employee is made inactive, they will not come into the new software. Same with if the inventory is being used, the inventory needs to be cleaned up. QuickBooks Online is a very smart software, and it complicates things. If things that are in the desktop are not clean and entered correctly, it will make a little bit of a mess in the online, causing some issues. Obviously, we can get through them. It just takes more time. All right, I don't see any questions in the chat that I know of, unless somebody sees one I don't see.
There is one.
Payroll costs.
Yes.
I don't have them with me. Let me look here. Payroll, yes. So the cost of the payroll, there's 3 options. There is a core, premium, and the elite. The core is the $50 a month, and then the premium is $88. The elite is $134. And with each higher subscription, there's different items offered by in QuickBooks, meaning that there's more automation, there's HR availabilities, there's handbooks where they'll help you create handbooks if you don't have one. So each one has different options available. The other, if you do use Kerber Rose, you also get 30% off of those subscriptions for the first year too. And again, if you have questions about that, please reach out to me and I'd be more than happy to walk you through and explain any of those things to you. With that, I thank you for attending and I look forward to you reaching out to me. Thank you.